What if the vegetables that could feed you all summer long are the ones you've never even thought to plant? Not the tomatoes fighting to stay alive in the heat. Not the lettuce that bolted before July even started. Something different. Something that was literally designed by nature for exactly the conditions most gardeners are running from right now. 8 of them actually. And by the time this video is done, your summer garden will never look the same again. Welcome back to Earthly Gardening. So glad you're here. If you're new, this is your home for practical no-fluff gardening advice that works in the real world without costing you a fortune. Whether you've been growing food for decades or you're just getting started, pull up a seat because today's video is one you'll want to save. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, do that right now. New videos go up every week and you don't want to miss a single one. And drop a comment below telling me where in the world you're gardening from. I genuinely love seeing where this community is spread across the globe. Alright, let's get into these 8 vegetables. Vegetable 1, Amaranth. Starting with one that most gardeners in the Western world walk right past in the seed aisle without a second thought, amaranth. Amaranth has been feeding people for thousands of years across Africa, Asia, and the Americas because it thrives when many other crops struggle. One of the reasons is that it's a C4 plant, meaning it uses sunlight and water more efficiently than many common vegetables, helping it handle heat and dry conditions remarkably well. For gardeners, that means a plant that keeps growing through summer while other greens slow down. The young leaves can be harvested and used much like spinach in stir-fries, soups, smoothies, or egg dishes. Later, the plant produces large seed heads filled with tiny edible seeds that can be cooked like a grain or ground into flour. You get multiple harvests from a single plant. It requires relatively little water once established, and it often reseeds itself for the following season. That's exactly the kind of low-maintenance, high-reward crop that deserves a place in any summer garden. Vegetable 2, Cowpea. Number 2 is something that has been a cornerstone of cooking and survival across West Africa and the American South for generations, and its reputation for being reliable is completely earned. Cowpeas, which most people know as black-eyed peas. If you grew up in a household where cowpeas made regular appearances on the dinner table, you already know how deeply satisfying they taste. But what most people do not realize is just how remarkable this plant is purely from a growing perspective. Cowpeas are nitrogen-fixing legumes. As their roots grow through your soil, they work in a natural partnership with soil bacteria to pull nitrogen directly from the air and deposit it into the ground around them. That means while the plant is feeding you above the surface, it is simultaneously improving your soil below it. Very few vegetables offer that kind of double benefit. What makes cowpeas particularly impressive in drought conditions is their root architecture. They send roots deep into the earth, far deeper than shallow-rooted plants like lettuce or basil, chasing underground moisture that other vegetables simply cannot reach. When the top few inches of your soil are bone dry and your other plants are visibly stressed, cowpea roots are already down in cooler, moister soil layers doing exactly what they need to do. You can harvest the pods young when they are tender and cook them exactly like green beans. Or you can leave them on the vine until they are fully dry, shell them out, and store them for months as a shelf-stable protein source that costs you almost nothing to produce. In terms of food security from a small garden space, cowpeas are nearly unmatched. Vegetable 3, Malabar spinach. Number 3 is one that genuinely changes things for gardeners who feel like they have to give up on leafy greens the moment summer arrives. Malabar spinach. When most people hear the word spinach, they immediately and correctly think cool weather crop. Regular spinach does not like heat. It bolts, meaning it rushes to flower and set seed, turning bitter and completely unusable within days of a heat wave. So gardeners accept that leafy greens are simply not a summer option and move on. Malabar spinach completely breaks that assumption. It is not actually related to regular spinach at all. It just produces thick, glossy, dark green leaves with a similar mild flavor and similar culinary uses. But unlike its cool weather namesake, Malabar spinach is a tropical vine that genuinely loves heat. The hotter the days get, the faster it climbs. Give it a trellis, a fence, a bamboo pole, anything vertical, and it will wrap itself upward and just keep producing leaves throughout the entire summer season. The flavor is mild with a very faint earthy note and a slight slipperiness when cooked that works beautifully in soups and stews. You can use it anywhere regular spinach would go. Sautéed with garlic, folded into an omelette, stirred into a pot of soup, blended into a smoothie. And because it grows vertically rather than spreading outward, it takes up almost no ground space, making it one of the best options for small gardens, raised beds, or even large containers on a balcony or patio. If summer has always meant the end of your leafy green harvests, Malabar spinach is the solution that has been waiting for you. Quick pause right here. If you are learning something new today, go ahead and hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second and it genuinely helps this video reach more gardeners who need exactly this kind of information. And if you have a gardening friend who struggles every summer, share this video with them. That one share means more than you know. Now back to our list. Vegetable 4, okra. Number 4, and I already know some of you just nodded your head because you have been waiting for this one. Okra. Okra gets an unfair reputation in a lot of kitchens because of its texture, but as a garden plant it is one of the most dependable summer producers you will ever put in the ground. It was carried from West Africa through centuries of trade and migration precisely because it could survive and produce in conditions that broke other crops. That history is not a coincidence. It is a testament to what this plant can do. Okra does not just tolerate heat. It genuinely wants it. It slows down noticeably in cool weather and shifts into a completely different gear once temperatures climb consistently above 85 degrees Fahrenheit. In dry conditions, okra naturally reduces its own water requirements, pulling back internal moisture usage in a way that allows it to keep producing pods even when rainfall is scarce and irrigation is limited. Here is the harvesting tip that most new okra growers miss. Pick the pods when they are 3 to 4 inches long, no longer. Once okra pods pass that size, they become woody, fibrous, and almost impossible to cook into something enjoyable. But when you harvest consistently at the right size, the plant responds by pushing out new pods continuously. One well-established okra plant in full summer heat can produce more usable food than 2 or 3 tomato plants that are struggling through the same conditions. Plant generously, harvest early, and okra will not let you down. Vegetable 5, sweet potato. Number 5 is one that completely reframes how people think about summer gardening once they try it. Sweet potato. Most people associate sweet potatoes with autumn, with harvests and holidays and cool weather cooking. But growing them through summer is actually one of the most strategic decisions you can make in a hot, dry climate. Here is why. The vines of a sweet potato plant spread wide and low across the ground, creating a dense living carpet over your soil. That living mulch shades the earth beneath it, keeping soil temperatures lower and dramatically reducing the rate at which moisture evaporates from the surface. Your soil stays cooler and holds water longer simply because the plant is covering it. Meanwhile, while that is happening above ground, the actual sweet potato tubers are quietly swelling underground. They are storing energy, building size, and developing flavor all through the summer months without you doing very much at all. Sweet potatoes need almost no attention once they root and begin spreading. No staking, no trellising, minimal watering once established, and they naturally suppress weeds by crowding them out with their dense vines. You plant the slips in late spring, more or less leave them alone all summer, and then in early autumn you go in with your hands or a garden fork and start digging. It is one of the most satisfying harvest experiences in all of food gardening. You reach into the soil not entirely sure what is there and you pull up real, beautiful, nourishing food. Consistently and reliably, year after year. Vegetable 6, tepary bean. Number 6 deserves far more attention than the gardening world currently gives it, and I genuinely hope this changes that for at least some of you watching. The tepary bean. This bean originates from the desert regions of the American Southwest and northern Mexico, where it has been cultivated by indigenous communities for centuries specifically because it produces food in conditions where almost everything else gives up entirely. Tepary beans have been studied seriously by agricultural researchers because of how astonishingly little water they need to complete their full growing cycle from planting to harvestable dried beans. Where common beans require consistent moisture to set pods and develop properly, tepary beans can push through long dry spells and still produce a meaningful harvest. In comparative research trials conducted in hot arid environments, tepary beans have outperformed common bean varieties by considerable margins. This is not a marginal improvement. This is a plant that was built from the ground up for water scarcity. The flavor of a cooked tepary bean is slightly nuttier and richer than a standard white or pinto bean, with a creamier texture that works exceptionally well in slow-cooked soups, stews, and braised dishes. If you live somewhere that summer water restrictions are a genuine concern, or if you simply want to grow more food while using significantly less water, the tepary bean might be the single most practical addition you can make to your garden this season. Vegetable 7, Moringa. Number 7 earns its nickname every single growing season. People call it the miracle tree, and while that kind of label usually sounds like exaggeration, Moringa genuinely earns it in a hot summer garden. Moringa grows at a speed that surprises people who are seeing it for the first time. In warm weather with reasonable sunlight, it can add several feet of height in a single season. The leaves are what most home growers harvest regularly, and from a nutritional standpoint they are among the most dense edible leaves you can grow in your own backyard. High in vitamins, rich in minerals, and containing a form of plant-based protein that your body can actually absorb and use efficiently. What makes Moringa directly relevant to this particular video is its drought survival mechanism. Moringa develops a thickened storage root that holds water internally, allowing the plant to draw on those reserves during dry periods when soil moisture is limited. In tropical and subtropical regions around the world, communities depend on Moringa specifically because it keeps producing nutritious leaves through the dry season when other food sources become unreliable or disappear entirely. In cooler climates where Moringa cannot survive winter outdoors, you can grow it successfully as an annual. Start seeds indoors several weeks before your last expected frost, transplant them out once warm weather is established, and watch the plant take off. You will get a full season of leaf harvests before the first frost ends the growing year. For something so easy and so nutritious, Moringa is remarkably underused in home gardens outside of tropical regions. Vegetable 8, Jute mallow. Number 8, and we are closing with something that carries deep cultural meaning for millions of people across Africa and the Middle East but remains almost completely invisible in mainstream Western gardening spaces. Jute mallow, known as yudu across much of West Africa and as molokhia across the Arab world. This plant grows in heat that would cause most leafy greens to collapse within days. It loves long bright sunny days. It handles dry spells without drama. And it produces an abundance of leaves from a surprisingly small amount of garden space, making it one of the most efficient summer leafy greens you can possibly grow. The leaves carry a natural slight thickness when cooked that creates rich, deeply comforting soups and stews that have sustained people across multiple continents for thousands of years. From a purely practical growing standpoint, jute mallow moves fast. In warm weather you can go from seed in the ground to your first harvest in under 6 weeks. And because you are harvesting leaves rather than waiting for fruit, pods, or tubers to develop, you can take small amounts from the plant regularly throughout the season without significantly slowing its overall production. It keeps growing. You keep harvesting. The cycle continues all summer long. If you have ever sat down to a bowl of yudu soup or a plate of molokhia stew and felt genuinely nourished by it, imagine stepping into your own backyard to pick those leaves fresh minutes before cooking. That connection between garden and table is something that changes how you relate to food in a way that is very hard to fully explain until you experience it yourself. So there you have it. 8 vegetables that do not just survive summer heat and drought but genuinely thrive in it. Amaranth, cowpeas, Malabar spinach, okra, sweet potato, tepary beans, moringa, and jute mallow. The shift I want to leave you with today is this. Summer gardening does not have to feel like a constant battle against your own climate. It only feels that way when the plants you are growing were not designed for the conditions you are asking them to grow in. These 8 vegetables have already done the hard work of adapting over centuries. All you need to do is give them space, a little patience, and get out of their way. Which one from this list are you most excited to try first? Drop it in the comments right now. I read every single comment and I genuinely want to know what direction your garden is heading this summer. If this video helped you see summer gardening differently, share it with one gardening friend who needs to hear this. Hit that like button if you haven't already, subscribe if you are not part of this community yet, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Happy growing! I will see you in the next one.